Welcome to the San Diego Regional Final Competition of Poetry Out Loud 2024. We're very happy to have you all with us, whether you are here at the library with us for the live event or via live stream, whether you're participating or cheering on a family member or a friend. I'm Walter Ritter. I'm the executive director and the co-founder of Write Out Loud. And before we begin, I want to exchange a huge thank you to the San Diego Public Library for hosting us each year for this and other literature-based events. Poetry Out Loud is presented locally by the City of San Diego's Commission for Arts and Culture in association with Write Out Loud and in partnership with the National Poetry Foundation, the National Endowment for the Arts, the California Arts Council. Now, let's get on with the competition. All of the participants tonight have already competed at a preliminary level, earning them a place to represent their school in the regional finals tonight. We have students competing from all across San Diego County. They are representing the Academy of Our Lady of Peace, Bayfront Charter High School, Canyon Crest Academy, Eastlake High School, Health Science High and Middle College, Otay Ranch High School, Pacific Ridge School, Valley Center High School, and independent students who competed in a Write Out Loud competition from Mission Bay High School and Scripps Ranch High School. Students will recite 2 poems, and each poem will be judged on 6 criteria: physical presence, voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, evidence of understanding, overall performance, and accuracy. There will be 2 rounds of poems this evening, and there will be a 10-minute break between the rounds. We invite those of you here at the library to enjoy refreshments, that's participants and audience alike, provided for us by the East County Women's Club. And I think we should give them a very good show. We are honored to have a distinguished panel of judges tonight, including poet and singer and UC San Marcos professor of creative writing, Brandon Seymour. Poet, board director of the San Diego Performing Arts League, founder and executive artistic director of Cultural Noise Performing Arts Company, Gina Jackson. Poet and educator, Nicole Lewis. Playwright, director, actor, and associate artistic director of Lamb's Players Theater, Carrie Meads. San Diego Poet Laureate, author, director of ethnic studies at UC San Marcos, Jason Magabo Perez. Actor and theater education teaching artist, Steve Smith. Thank you all for being here tonight. At the end of round 2, while the scores are being tallied, students will have an opportunity to read or recite a poem of their own choosing. These poems will not be judged. They are simply for the pleasure of the students and of you, the audience. All finalists will be presented with a Poetry Out Loud Regional Finalist Certificate, and the winner and the runner-up will then be announced. Tonight's winner will advance to compete at the state level in Sacramento in March. The runner-up will be standing by in case, for any reason, the first-place student cannot attend the state finals. The winner of the California State Finals will advance to the National Finals in Washington, D.C. Now that we're all ready to get started, I would like to introduce our first participant, Lucas Cacho.
Shall Earth No More Inspire Thee, by Emily Bronte. Shall earth no more inspire thee, thou lonely dreamer now, since passion may not fire thee, shall nature cease to bow? Thy mind is ever moving in regions dark to thee. Recall its useless roving. Come back and dwell with me. I know my mountain breezes enchant and soothe thee still. I know thy sunshine pleases, despite thy wayward will. When day with evening blending sinks from summer sky, I've seen thy spirit bending in fond idolatry. I've watched thee every hour. I know my mighty sway. I know my magic power that drives thy griefs away. When day with evening, few hearts to mortals given, on earth so wildly pine, yet none would ask a heaven more like this earth than thine. Then let the winds caress thee, thy comrade, let me be, since naught beside could bless thee. Return and dwell with me.
Raquel Casillas.
The Affliction of Richard by Robert Bridges. Love not too much, but how? When thou hast made me such, and thus thy gift bestow, how can I love too much? Though I must fear to lose, and drown my joy in care, with all its thorns I choose the path of love and prayer. Though thou, I know not why, didst killed my childish trust, that breach with toil did I repair, because I must. In spite of frighting schemes with which the fiends of hell blaspheme thee in my dreams, so far I have hoped well. But what? The heavenly key, what marvel in me wrought, shall quite exculpate thee? I have no shadow of thought. What am I that complain? The love from which began my question, sad and vain, justifies thee to man. Thank you.
Miley Garrett.
Where the Wild Things Go, by Dee Gilson. The night Max wore his wolf suit made him infamous. Bred, the child star, never sent to bed. Middle school, Max started drinking. "Non my house," his mother begged. "No, no, no, wild thing." Max reminded her, who bought this condo? Who paid for her meds? Freshman year, Max raved. roared his terrible roar, rolled, and almost wound up in a warehouse dead. Where, oh where do the wild things go? To rehab in high school? To college on residual book sales? Max kept his head down, laughed at drunken frat boys. Bro, let the wild rumpus start. Max said, no thanks, and volunteered for the Peace Corps instead. 2 years in Kenya, 1 in Belarus. The president thought Max might be of some use. Max moved to Washington, appointed at the State Department, a cultural attaché. One important day, Max wore his wolf gray suit and drove home well past rush hour in a freak snowstorm. Max drove down the deserted beltway, thought it his throne. Yes, Max belted. This is where the wild things roam. Thank you.
Ricky Ghosh.
One Art by Elizabeth Bishop. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things seem filled with the intent to be lost that their loss is no disaster. Lose something every day. Accept the fluster of lost door keys, the hour badly spent. The art of losing isn't hard to master. Then, practice losing farther, losing faster, places and names, even losing you. The joking voice, the gesture I love, I shan't have lied. It's evident the art of losing's not too hard to master, though it may look like. Write it like disaster. Thank you.
Cecilia Hahn.
The Oldest Living Thing in LA by Larry Levis. At Wilshire in Santa Monica, I saw an opossum trying to cross the street. It was late, the street was brightly lit. The opossum would take a few steps forward, then back away from the breath of moving traffic. People coming out of the bar would approach as if to help it somehow. It lifted its black lips, showed its reddened gums, long rows of incisors, teeth that went way back beyond the flames of Troy and Cathridge. Sheep grazing rock-strewn hills, fragments of ruins in the grass at San Vital. It would back away, delicately and smoothly, stepping carefully as it always had. There was nothing that could be done. It can mangle someone's hand in 20 seconds. Mangle it for good. Sever it completely from the wrist in 40. There was nothing that could be done for it. Someone or other probably called LAPD, who then called animal control, who woke a driver, who dressed in mailed gloves, the kind of thing that small knights once wore into battle, who then gathered his pole with a noose tied at the end, a long steel net to snare the thing with. Somebody who had hoped the thing would have vanished by the time he got there. Thank you.
Caitlin Hunter.
The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thank you.
Chelsea Long.
The Robots Are Coming by Kyle Dargan. With clear-cased woofers for heads, no eyes. They see us as a bat sees a mosquito, a fleshy echo, a morsel of sound. You've heard their intergalactic tour buses purring at our stratosphere's curb. They await counterintelligence transmissions from our laptops and our blue teeth. Await word of humanity's critical mass, our ripening. How many times have we dreamed it this way? The age of the machines. Post-industrial terrors whose tempered paws, 5 welded fingers wrench back our roofs. Siderophilic tongues seeking blood, licking the crumbs of us from our beds. Oh, great nation, it won't be pretty. What land will we now barter for our lives? A treaty inked in advance of the metal one's footfall. Give them Gary, give them Detroit, Pittsburgh, Braddock, those forgotten nurseries of girders and axles. Tell the machines we honor their dead, distant cousins. Tell them we tendered those cities to repose out of respect for welded steel's bygone era. Tell them Ford and Carnegie were giant men, that war glazed their palms with gold. Tell them we soft beings mourn manufacture's death as our own. Thank you.
Giada Long.
Detonation by Ocean Vuong. There's a joke that ends with, huh? It's the bomb saying, here's your father. Now here's your father inside your lungs. Look how lighter the earth is afterward. There's enough, to even write the word father is to carve a portion of the day out of a bomb-bright page. There's enough light to drown in, but never enough to enter the bones and stay. Don't stay here, he said, my boy broken by the names of flowers. Don't cry anymore. So I ran into the night, my shadow growing toward my father.
Jonas Mack.
About Standing in Kinship by Kimberly, forgot the last name. We all have the same little bones on our feet, 26 with funny names like navicular. Together they build something strong, our foot arch, a pyramid holding us up. When these bones break, they don't get a cast. We tape them one phalange to its neighbor for support. Other things like sorrow work that way too. Find help in the leaning, the closeness. Our foot has 1/4 of all the bones in our body. Maybe we should honor our feet. And to all the tiny but blessed cogs, communities, the forgotten architecture of friendship.
Anushka Majumdar.
Often rebuked, yet always back returning. By Emily Bronte. Often rebuked, yet always back returning to those first feelings that were born with me, and leaving busy chase of wealth and learning for idle dreams of things which cannot be. Today, I will seek not the shadowy region. Its unsustaining vastness waxes drear, and visions rising, legion after legion, bring the unreal world too strangely near. I'll walk, but not in old, heroic traces, and not in paths of high morality, and not among the half-distinguished faces, the clouded forms of long past history. I'll walk where my own nature would be leading. It vexes me to choose another guide, where the gray flocks in ferny glens are feeding, where the wild wind blows on the mountainside. What have those lonely mountains worth revealing? More glory and more grief than I can tell. The earth that wakes one human heart to feeling can center both the worlds of heaven and hell.
Niana Moore.
Apollo by Elizabeth Alexander.
We pull off to a road shack in Massachusetts to watch men walk on the moon. We did the same thing for 3, 2, 1, blast off, and now we watch the same men bounce in and out of craters. I want a Coke and a hamburger, because the men are walking on the moon, which is now irrefutably not green, not cheese, not a shiny dime floating in a cold blue, the way I thought. The road check people don't notice. We're a black family not from there, the way it mostly goes. This talking through static, bounces in space boots, tethered to cords, is much stranger, stranger even than we are. Thank you.
Kimia Mustafi.
We Lived Happily During the War by Ilya Kaminsky. And when they bombed other people's houses, we protested, but not enough. We opposed them, but not enough. I was in my bed, around my bed, America was falling. Invisible house by invisible house by invisible house. I took a chair outside and watched the sun. In the 6th month of a disastrous rain, in the house of money, in the street of money, in the city of money, in the country of money, our great country of money, we, forgive us, lived happily during the war.
Kang Win.
A Boat Beneath a Sunny Sky by Lewis Carroll. A boat beneath a sunny sky, lingering onward dreamily in an evening of July. Children 3 that nestle near, eager eye and willing ear, pleased a simple tale to hear. Long has paled that sunny sky, echoes fade and memories die. Autumn frosts have slain July. Still she haunts me, phantom-wise, Alice moving under skies, never seen by waking eyes. Children yet the tale to hear, eager eye and willing ear, lovingly shall nestle near. In a wonderland they lie, dreaming as the days go by, dreaming as the summers die. Ever drifting down the stream, lingering in that golden gleam. Life, what is it but a dream? Thank you.
Irini Tanyus.
Boy and Egg by Naomi Shihab Hai. Every few minutes, he wants to march the trail of flat and dry grass back to the house of muttering hens. He too could make a bed in hay. Yesterday, the egg so fresh it felt hot in his hand, and he pressed it to his ear while the other children laughed and ran with the ball, leaving him. So little yet, too forgetful in games, ready to cry if the ball brushed him over, riveted to the secret of birds. caught up inside his fist, not ready to give it over to the refrigerator or the rest of the day. Thank you.
Kendra Weaver.
Entirely by Louis MacNeice. If we could get the hang of it entirely, it would take too long. All we know is but the splash of words in passing and falling twigs of song. And when we try to eavesdrop on the great presences, it is rarely that by a stroke of luck we can appropriate even a phrase entirely. If we could find our happiness entirely in somebody else's arms, we should not fear the spears of the spring, nor the city's yammering fire alarms. But as it is, the spears each year go through our flesh and almost banishes the blue eyes of love entirely. And if the world were black or white entirely, and all the charts were plain, instead of a mad weir of tigerish waters, a prism of delight and pain, we might be sure of where we wish to go. Or again, we might be merely bored. But in brute reality, there is no road that is right entirely. Thank you.
That concludes round one. Congratulations. We'll now take a 10-minute break in which all of you are invited to stretch, grab something to eat or drink in the back of the room, but please be back in your places in 10 minutes. nobody asked if I was ready. Yes, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do round 2. Okay. It says here I'm supposed to say welcome back for everyone to round 2. And then we will go in the same order. So, will Lucas Cacho please come to the microphone?
Coyote with Mange by Mark Wunderlich. Oh, unreadable one, why have you done this to your dumb creature? Why have you chosen to punish the coyote, rummaging for chicken bones in the dung heap, shucked the fur from his tail, and fashioned it into a scabby cane? Why have you denuded his face, tufted it, so that when he turns, he looks like a slow child unhinging his face in a smile? The coyote shambles, crow hops, keeps his head low, and without fur, his now visible pizzle is a sad red protuberance. His hind legs, the backward image of a bandy-legged grandfather, stripped. Why have you unhoused this wretch from his one aesthetic virtue, taken from him that which kept him from burning in the sun like a man? Why have you pushed him from his world into mine, stopped him there, and turned his ear toward my warning shout?
Raquel Casillas.
About Standing in Kinship by Kimberly Blazer. We all have the same little bones in our foot. 26 with funny names like navicular. Together, they build something strong. Our foot arch, a pyramid, holding us up. Our bones don't get cast when they break. We tape them, one phalange to its neighbor for support. Other things like sorrow work that way. Find healing in the leaning, the closeness. Our feet have 1/4 of all the bones in our body. Maybe we should give more honor to feet and to all those tiny but blessed cogs in the world, communities, the forgotten architecture of friendship.
Miley Garrett.
Self-Portrait as Kendrick Lamar, Laughing to the Bank, by Ashanti Anderson. This, what God feels like, laughing alone in an empty room full of tiny doors. Behind every door, a metal box. Inside each, a man's red heart, lying. I don't write of the cartoonish thing, split and jagged at its inside. Instead, how I break even across the same backs, spindled by hate. I tell God, I understand. And what I mean is, I've noticed good people must die to let there be light in my house. We share a likeness, God and I, both laughing like something green folded in our throats. Laughing, meanwhile somebody's auntie asks for. Anything helps. Laughing as people say they don't want to read about the bad stuff. crying, laughing as we pass our pain off as an offering plate. Sometimes I nervous chuckle, knowing trauma pays. But the only time I really laugh is when I'm laughing to the bank like, uh-huh. Thank you.
Ricky Ghosh.
Crossing the Bar by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Sunsets, an evening star, and one clear call for me. And may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea, but such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight, an evening bell, and after that the dark, and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark, for though from out are born of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. Thank you.
Cecilia Hahn.
Anasazi by Tacy M. Atsidi. How can we die when we're prone to leaving the table mid-meal, like ancient ones gone to breathe elsewhere? Salt sits still, but pepper's gone, rolled off in a rush. We've practiced dying for a long time. When we skip dance or town, when we chew. We carved like dining room walls in a canyon, eaten through by wind. Sorry, we rushed off. The food wasn't ours. Sorry, the grease sits white on our plates. And the jam that didn't set, use it as a syrup to cover every theory of us.
Caitlin Hunter.
Ah, why? Because the Dazzling Sun by Emily Bronte. Ah, why? Because the dazzling sun restored my earth to joy? Have you departed, every one, and left a desert sky? All through the night your glorious eyes were gazing down in mine, and with a full heart's thankful sighs, I blessed that watch divine. I was at peace and drank your beams as they were life to me, and reveled in my changeful dreams like petrel on the sea. Thought followed thought, star followed star, through boundless regions on, while one sweet influence, near and far, thrilled through and proved us one. Why did the morning rise to break so great, so pure a spell, and scorch with fire the tranquil cheek where your cool radiance fell? blood red he rose, and arrows straight his fierce beams struck my brow. The soul of nature sprang elate, but mine sank sad and low. My lids closed down, yet through their veil I saw him blazing still, and bathe in gold the misty dale, and flash upon the hill. I turned me to the pillow then, to call back night, and see your worlds of solemn light again throb with my heart and me. It would not do. The pillow glowed and glowed both roof and floor, and birds sang loudly in the wood, and fresh winds shook the door. The curtains waved, the wakened flies were murmuring round my room, imprisoned there till I should rise and give them leave to roam. O stars and dreams and gentle night, O night and stars, return, and hide me from this hostile light that does not warm but burn, that drains the blood of suffering men, drinks tears instead of dew. Let me sleep through his blinding rain and only wake with you. Thank you.
Chelsea Long.
Poetry by Marianne Moore. I too dislike it. There are things that are important beyond all this fiddle. Reading it, however, with a perfect contempt for it, one discovers that there is in it, after all, a place for the genuine. Hands that can grasp, eyes that can dilate, hair that can rise if it must. These things are important, not because a high-sounding interpretation can be put upon them, but because they are useful. When they become so derivative as to become unintelligible, the same thing may be said for all of us, that we do not admire what we cannot understand. The bat, holding on upside down or in quest of something to eat. Elephants pushing. A wild horse taking a roll. The tireless wolf under a tree. The immovable critic, twinkling his skin like a horse that feels a flea. The baseball fan, the statistician. Case after case could be cited did one wish it. Nor is it valid to discriminate against business documents and school books. All these phenomena are important. One must make a distinction, however, when dragged into prominence by half poets, the result is not poetry. Nor till the autocrats among us can be literalists of the imagination, above insolence and triviality, and can present for inspection imaginary gardens with real toads in them. Shall we have it? In the meantime, if you demand, on the one hand, in defiance of their opinion, the raw material of poetry in all its rawness, and that which is, on the other hand, genuine, then you are interested in poetry. Thank you.
Giada Long.
Self-Help by Michael Ryan. What kind of delusion are you under? The life he hid just knocked you flat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. And what God hath joined, let no man put asunder. Did God know you'd marry a rat? What kind of delusion are you under? His online persona simply stunned her, as it did you when you started to chat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. But to the victors go the plunder, and you should crown them with a baseball bat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. What kind of delusion are you under? The kind that causes blunder after blunder. Is there any other type but that? Well, you see the lightning, but not the thunder. And for just 1 second, the world's a wonder. Just keep it throwing under your hat. What kind of delusion are you under? You see the lightning, but not the thunder.
Jonas Mack.
Abraham Lincoln Walks at Night by Vachelle Lindsay. It is portentous, a thing of state, that here at midnight in our little town, a mourning figure walks and will not rest, near the old courthouse, pacing up and down, or by his homestead, or in shadowed yards. He lingers where his children used to play, or through the market, on the well-worn stones. He stalks until the dawn stars burn away. A bronzed, lank man, his suit of ancient black, a famous high top hat, a plain worn shawl, make him the quaint great figure that men love. The prairie lawyer, master of us all, he cannot sleep upon his hillside now. He is among us, as in times before. And we who toss and lie awake for long, breathe deep and start to see him pass the door. His head is bowed, he thinks on men and kings. Yeah, when the sick world cries, how can we sleep? Too many peasants fight, they know not why. Too many homesteads in black terror weep. The sins of all the warlords burn his heart. He sees the dreadnoughts scorning every main. Hold on. Okay. The sins of all the warlords burn his heart. He sees the dreadnoughts scorning every main. He carries on his shawl-wrapped shoulders now the bitterness, the folly, and the pain. He cannot rest until a spirit dawn shall come, the shining hope of Europe free, the league of sober folk, the workers' earth, bringing long peace to Cornwall, Alp, and sea. It breaks his heart that kings must murder still, to all his hours of travail here for men seem yet in vain. And who will bring white peace that he may sleep upon his hill again?
Anushka Majumdar.
The Layers by Stanley Kunitz. I have walked through many lives, some of them my own. And I am not who I was, though some principle of being abides from which I struggle not to stray. When I look behind, as I am compelled to look before I can gather strength to proceed on my journey, I see the milestones dwindling toward the horizon and the slow fires trailing from the abandoned campsites over which scavenger angels wheel on heavy wings. Oh, I have made myself a tribe out of my true affections, and my tribe is scattered. How shall the heart be reconciled to its feast of losses. In a rising wind, the manic dust of my friends, those who fell along the way, bitterly stings my face. Yet I turn, exulting somewhat, with my will intact to go wherever I need to go, and every stone on the road precious to me. In my darkest night, when the moon was covered and I roamed through wreckage, a nimbus-clouded voice directed me. Live in the layers, not on the litter. Though I lack the art to decipher it, no doubt the next chapter in my book of transformations is already written. I am not done with my changes.
Niana Moore.
Among Women by Marie Ponsat. What women wonder? Not many, all, a few, most sweat now and then, and no wonder. Some, and I'm one, wonder sitting still. My small grandmother bought from every peddler, less for their ribbons and lace than for their scent. Of sleep where you will, walk out when you want, choose your company and your bread. She warned me, have nothing to lose. She looked fragile, but had high blood, runner's ankles, could endure. She loved her rooted garden, her grandchildren, her once wild, once young man. Women wonder as best they can. Thank you.
Kimia Mustafi.
The Garden by H.D. You are clear, O rose cut in rock, hard as the descent of hail. I could scrape the color from the petals like split dye from a rock. If I could break you, I could break a tree. If I could stir, I could break a tree. I could break you. Oh, wind, rend open the heat, cut apart the heat, rend it to tatters. Fruit cannot drop through this thick air. Fruit cannot fall into heat that presses up and blunts the points of pears and rounds the grapes. Cut the heat, plow through it, turning it on either side of your path.
Kang Win.
The Idler by Alice Moore Dunbar Nelson. An idle linger on the wayside road, he gathers up his work and yawns away, a little longer ere the tiresome load shall be reduced to ashes and to clay. No matter if the world has marched along and scorned his slowness as it quickly passed, no matter if amid the busy throng he greets some face infantile at the last. His mission? Well, there is but one, and if it is a mission, he knows it nay. To be a happy idler, to lounge to sun, and dreaming pass his long-drawn days away. So dreams he on, his happy life to pass, content without ambitions, painful sighs, until the sands run down into the glass. He smiles, content, unmoved, and dies. And yet with all the pity that you feel, for this poor mothling of that flame, the world, are you the better for your desperate deal, when you, like him, into infinitude are hurled? Thank you.
Irini Tanyus.
Don't Leave Me Lonely at the Airport Security Checkpoint by Claudia Rankine. At the airport security checkpoint, on my way to visit my grandmother, I'm asked to drink from my water bottle. This water bottle? That's right. Open it and drink from it. At the airport security checkpoint, on my way to visit my grandmother, I'm asked to take off my shoes. Take off my shoes? Yes, both please. At the airport security checkpoint, on my way to visit my grandmother, I'm asked if I have a fever. A fever? Really? Yes, really. My grandmother is in a nursing home. It's not bad. It doesn't smell like pee. It doesn't smell like anything. When I go see her, as I walk through the hall past the common room and the nurse's station, old person after old person puts his or her hand to me. Steve, one says, and another calls. It's like being in a third world country, but instead of food or your money, you are what is wanted, your company. In third world countries, I have felt overwhelmingly American, calcium-rich, white, and privileged. Here, I feel young, lucky, and sad. Sad is one of those words that has given up its life for our country. It's been a martyr for the American dream. It's been neutralized, co-opted by our culture to suggest a tinge of discomfort that lasts the time it takes for this and then for that to happen, the time it takes to change a channel. But sadness is real because it once meant something real. It meant dignified, grave. It meant trustworthy. It meant exceptionally bad, deplorable, shameful. It meant massive, weighty, forming a compact body. It meant falling heavily, and it meant a color, dark. It meant a dark color to darken. It meant me. I felt sad. Thank you.
Kendra Weaver.
My prime of youth is but a frost of cares, by Chidiock Tichborne. My prime of youth is but a frost of cares. My feast of joy is but a dish of pain. My crop of corn is but a field of tares. And all my good is but vain hope of gain. The day is gone, and yet I saw no sun. And now I live, and now my life is done. The spring is past, and yet it hath not sprung. The fruit is dead, and yet the leaves are green. My youth is gone, and yet I am but young. I saw the world, and yet I was not seen. My thread is cut, and yet it was not spun. And now I live, and now my life is done. I sought my death and found it in my womb. I looked for life and saw it was a shade. I trode the earth and knew it was my tomb. And now I die. And now I am but made. The glass is full, and now the glass is run. And now I live, and now my life is done. Thank you.
That is the end of round 2. Congratulations. Well done. While the judges are tallying up their results, does anybody want to entertain the audience? Good. Please do.
Okay, I'm going to be reading Fairy Tale Logic by A.E. Stallings. Fairy tales are full of impossible tasks. Gather the chin hairs of a man-eating goat, or cross a sulfuric lake on a leaky boat. Select the prince from a row of identical masks. Tiptoe up to a dragon where it basks, and snatch its bone. Count dust specks, mote by mote, or learn the phone directory by rote. Always it's impossible what somebody asks. You have to fight magic with magic. You have to believe that you have something impossible up your sleeve. The language of the snakes, perhaps an invisible cloak, an army of ants at your beck, or a lethal joke. The will to do whatever must be done. Marry a monster. Hand over your firstborn son. Thank you.
Is anybody else moved to share something? This is just for fun, you know. I'll go. Good.
I'm going to be reading The Lyric in a Time of War by Eloise Klein Healy. Let my music be found wanting in comparison to yours as it must. Let me be found loving, as you were, extravagant and beautiful. Let me find you and the song forever between us in these terrible times.
Anybody else persuadable? Anushka?
My peeper's in the audience. Can I go grab it?
Yes. We'll wait. Oh, okay, go for it. That's fine.
So I'm gonna share a poem that I wrote in my first, this is like my third poem ever written. I'm open to commentary, any advice. Open to advice after. I call it Sense by, my name's Jonas Mack. Sense by Jonas Mack. Let me bring this down. As my smell begins to fade, the chickens begin to lay. I wanted to see, it would fill me with glee. As the seasons change, my sight just may leave me behind, that wouldn't be kind. I wanted to witness the chickens and misses. As they played around with so much sound, my hearing goes as it snows. I loved that meat from my fleet. But as spring came forth, my taste went north. I held my head as if I was dead, my feelings gone, my like mother's lawn. I'd rather die, I couldn't lie, or am I dead in my head? All I realize is that I paralyze those around me. I wish they drowned me. I have no use like a moose.
Anushka?
So, I'd like to share an original poem of mine. It's titled Directions. There is one aspect of life that I find equal parts intriguing, equal parts terrifying. There are no directions. There is no structure. There are only choices that you carve, decisions that you mold, opportunities that you embrace, challenges that you fear, repercussions that you never foresaw. There is no true black. There is no true white. Only an endless sea of gray. There is no real right, no real wrong, only the spectrum of perspective. The only path forward, the only reality, is the one you create. A labor of thoughts, words, and actions compiled, compressed, layer upon layer, until they become something else. As absurd as it sounds, the absence of structure is beautiful. A sort of art, if I may, where the outlines are only where you draw them, where the color is only what you paint, where the joy is yours, the pain is yours, the rainbows and the rain, the losses and the gains, the full range of experiences. See, that is what life is. It is yours, and it is what you make of it. Thank you.
Yes?
Hi, everyone. This is I Am Very Bothered by Simon Armitage. I am very bothered when I think of all the bad things I've done in my life. Not least that time in the chemistry lab when I held a pair of scissors by the blades and played the handles in the naked lilac flame of the Bunsen burner. Then called your name and handed them over. Oh, the unrivaled stench of branded skin as you slipped your thumb and middle finger in, then couldn't shake off the two burning rings, marked, the doctor said, for eternity. Don't believe me, please, if I say that was just my butterfingered way at 13 of asking you if you would marry me. Thank you.
Any other? Oh.
Mine is an original. It's a 2-in-1 situation. It'll make sense when I read it. Okay. It's called Out of Place. Out of place. Imagine a person, me, who knows her way with thoughts unknown to staggers and flaws, filled with certainty, no imperfections. She is literally the definition of a brilliant robot. Now I'm going to read it backwards. A brilliant robot. She is literally the definition of imperfections, no certainty, filled with staggers and flaws, thoughts unknown to a person, me, who knows her way with out of place. Imagine. Thank you.
Weren't you interested?
Just a little.
Please come on.
Okay, this is The Town of Don't You Worry by I.J. Bartlett. Well, now it is. The Town of Don't You Worry. There's a town called Don't You Worry on the banks of River Smile, where the cheer up and be happy blossom sweetly all the while, where the never grumble flower blooms beside the fragrant try, and the ne'er give up in patience point their faces to the sky. In the valley of contentment, in the province of I Will, you will find this lovely city at the foot of No Fret Hill. There are thoroughfares delightful in this very charming town, and on every hand are shade trees named the very seldom frowned. Rustic benches quite enticing you'll find scattered here and there, and to each a vine is clinging, called the frequent earnest prayer. Everybody there is happy and is singing all the while, in the town of Don't You Worry on the banks of River Smile.
Still need some time?
We're ready, but we don't want to stop them if they're not ready.
Is there anybody else that, yes, it's your turn.
Okay. This is called O Rascal Children of Gaza by Khalid Juma. O rascal children of Gaza, you who constantly disturb me with your screams under my window, you who filled every morning with rush and chaos, you who broke my vase and stole the lonely flower on my balcony. Come back and scream all you want and break all the vases, steal all the flowers. Come back, just come back.
Click.
An original poem by myself called Improv. The floor is yours. You can do anything you like. It doesn't have to be good. It's improv. It's time. It's time for you to shine. Except, everyone else is watching, so if you move weird, that's kind of weird. Don't move weird. Why would you do that? This is a dance class. You're supposed to be good. You auditioned. You got in, so be good, right? If you don't do like the quad turn into like an attitude turn and then go down with a knee drop and do fancy floor work that we totally learned how to do, we didn't. If you don't do that, then why are you really here? It's improv. It's time for you to shine. It's time for you to show, just what you can do, things we haven't learned in class. And you're supposed to be good because everybody else is. And if you're not, it's kind of embarrassing. It's improv. You're supposed to feel the emotions. You're supposed to get deep into it. You're supposed to show why you dance. Not, oh, yeah, I just wanted a free period. I didn't want to do work, so I'm taking dance at school. No, you're supposed to show why you want to be here, and that's what I try to do. But with everybody else looking at me while I struggle to find why I want to be here, it's hard. But I love improv because I get to shine. Thank you.
Anyone still hungering for your moment in the mic with the microphone? No. I think we're ready for you. Are you ready for us? I'm ready. I'm almost ready. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Veronica Murphy.
Can I just say, no, I can't. Can I just say how exciting it is for me to have these fabulous young people up here reciting this magnificent poetry? It just makes me have chills. And I just want to mention, before we go any further, on the back of your program is another poetry initiative that we have. It is a poetry writing initiative, and any student from grade K through 12 can enter. All the information is on the back of your program. And if you are a teacher or you know teachers, we also have fabulous teaching artists doing workshops to teach young people about poetry, to inspire a passion for it. So I just want you're all here because you love poetry, I think, or you love these kids. And so I hope you'll spread the word around. The information about it is on, in addition to on the back of your poetry, it's on our website, under our education tab. It's called Let Your Voice Be Heard. Thank you. Okay, are you gonna do this? And hold on, I'll take these.
Okay. Do you want me to call it, just pass them out?
No, I
Or do
want
you
you to call their name, and I want you to
Raquel Casillas.
and then don't go until she gets, don't go to the next until she gets it. I forgot to tell him that earlier.
Miley Grant. Lucas, you're right here. Cecilia Hahn. Chelsea Long. Yana Long. Jonas Mack.
Say it so they can hear.
Jonas Mack. Caitlin Hunter. Niana Moore. Kimia Mustafi. Irini Tanyus, and I worked on that. Con Wynn. And Kendra Wheeler.
Now I get to do the big honors. First of all, I want to thank you all again. You guys are fabulous. It was so exciting. And I couldn't watch you except you because you were first, because I was tallying, but I was just listening, and it was just really, really marvelous. All of you, thank you so much. So I'm first going to announce, oh, you know how to say the same. I'm first going to announce the runner-up. The runner-up will be standing by if the winner is not able to go to Sacramento for the finals in in March. And this is the first year since COVID that they're actually holding the state finals in Sacramento. The last several years, they've been doing it all virtually. So it's very exciting. The students get to go, and it's all paid for, and it's really cool. Okay, so for our runner-up, I hope you are ready. Ricky Gosh. And our first place winner is a freshman at Scripps Ranch High School, Anushka Majumber. You have more to say, right?
I guess I have more to say. I usually do. But I don't know, weird, because she stole my thunder. I was supposed to tell you about Let Your Voice Be Heard.
I know, but I was
So that's gone. What can I say? This show, except for the photos, is over. Please, and there's food, of course. Please consider joining us again on right around this date a year from tonight. for the 2025 edition.
And we'll do our very best to have better weather.
So, what do you want to do regarding photos?
Well,
What's happening?
are you here, Ron? Okay.
Good.
So let's get some great shots of all the kids together,
Right.
if we can do that. And then we'll do some photos of our two runner-up and winner, okay? But we want to get everybody